Well, Jets fans, that was another brutal week one loss for the New York Jets as Aaron Rodgers comes into town to face his former team in the New York Jets. 34-32 win for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. Chris Boswell hits a game-winning 60-yard field goal in the last minute of the game. Rodgers drives the Steelers down the field. Really wasn't that much of a drive, but he gets them down there. They hit the game-winning field goal. Justin Fields and the Jets offense, which had a great day, had a big chance to drive down the field and kick a game-winning field goal. They can't get anything going. Garrett Wilson gets popped by Jalen Ramsey on the last play of the game, and that's how it goes for the Jets. I'm Ryan Sampson. That's Frankie Vittorini from U Stadium. This is the Gang's All Here post-game live show. Jets fans, we welcome you as always for coming in. This is what we're going to do every single game. But before we get to anything else, Frankie, how you feeling after that one, man?
Man, it just feels like we can never get out of our own way, right? It just feels like this reminds me of some games we had last year where we just can never finish it, man. There's some black cloud there. There's just plays that never go in our favor. They just don't. I'm very upset. I'm really ticked off because we should have won the game. This was a game that was ours. We made a bunch of mistakes. I'm going to go through those in a bit. We should have won this game, right? We should have won the game. And it's unfortunate because I feel like I've said that a lot over the last couple of years. But they for the most part, they played well, specifically on offense. We'll get into the defense and the special teams, which cost us the game today.
Yeah, Frankie. I mean, that's kind of where I want to start here with the Jets defense. We can go back and forth about the Rodgers return, Jets defense, how they played against him. Let's start off with that. I mean, the Jets start off with a bang, right? Like they sack Aaron Rodgers on the first play of the game defensively, and you're like, wow, okay, like they're fired up. They want to go up against their former teammate, Aaron Rodgers. This Jets defense looked like they get after Quinnen Williams. Welcome back. He looked awesome today. And you're like, let's go. But as the game progressed, Frankie, defensively for the Jets, I thought it was a really bad game. I mean, Brandon Stevens got picked on all game long. And
yes, he did.
Our guy, Brian Costello, before the game told us, look, guys, Brandon Stevens was a questionable signing with how much money they gave him. Not really many other teams were going in on Brandon Stevens as a cornerback target in the free agent market. He got a big deal by the Jets. Aaron Glenn seemed like he was convinced that he can coach this guy up and get the most out of him. But at the end of the day, he was picked on. Calvin Austin made him look silly on multiple plays. He got the huge DPI penalty down the sideline in the fourth quarter. It wasn't a good showing from, I would say, the Jets secondary overall and from Brandon Stevens. What'd you take away from that?
Yeah, man. I mean, Ryan, he was getting picked on all game. He dropped an interception. He had a bad penalty at the end of the game. He's not ready to play. He's not ready to play. We paid this guy a lot of money. He looked not ready to play. Another player that didn't look ready to play was another player that fans didn't want on this team. Xavier Gipson did not look ready to play.
He had a couple of nice returns, though. It was just that brutal fourth quarter fumble on the kickoff return. If Nkwonu doesn't get hurt with the hamstring injury, Gibson's not returning that ball.
Yeah,
that's a killer, right?
That is true. But I'll say this: mistakes were the reason that we lost this game. Xavier Gipson with that fumble. You had two missed 2-point conversions, right? With two 2-point conversions we didn't convert on. You do that, you win the game or you're tied. So you missed on two of those because you could have made one of those, and you tie. So at least one of those two, you can tie the game. You win the game, right? Now we call a timeout on one of those, the last 2-point conversion, which could have bit us in the ass, maybe forced some difference there in play calling at the end. Again, we went through the dropped interception by Michael Carter, too, had one that he could have had. Stevens had one. You have the DK Metcalf bobble that just didn't fall in our lap. Games like this, close games, Ryan, it comes down to mistakes. Penalties, you brought it up before the show. We had 7 penalties. That's why they beat us by 2. The Jets should have won this game. They should have won the game.
Yeah, I think about, the huge swing that happens for the Steelers, the start of the fourth quarter, Frankie. At the end of the third, they start their drive, and the Jets had this perfectly drawn up on defensively for this play. Johnson from the Steelers gets a pitch to the left side, and the Jets run it down, and it's gonna be a stop for -2 yards for the run, but Quincy Williams tackles Johnson out of bounds. It's a personal foul, right? They call unnecessary roughness on Quincy Williams. It's now, instead of a 2nd and 12, it's now 1st and 10, all the way at now from the Pittsburgh own 32. Yep. Now it's up at the Pittsburgh 45 midfield. From there on, they went down the field. Rodgers had an easy touchdown drive there from that point forward, and then it was the fumble, like you said, from Gibson, and then a couple plays later.
What about John Simpson, right? What about John Simpson before the half?
I didn't have a problem with that.
I didn't listen. I don't have a problem with it either. Yeah. However, when you have a close game like this, those 15 yards could have been the difference between maybe you can get a field goal before the half. I'm just saying that's another thing you can layer on. How many things? And the Jets played good today, especially on offense.
Yes.
We're going to get into that.
We'll get into that in a sec. Yes.
They made too many mistakes on defense. They made too many mistakes on special teams. And they, again, had a few, like you brought up with Quincy, I just brought up with John Simpson, a few too many boneheaded plays. We outgained Pittsburgh 394 to 271. We controlled the clock 34 and a half minutes to their 25. They didn't turn the ball over, which I wish we could have gotten. Again, that's something this defense, if they don't figure out how to get their freaking hands on
Michael
the ball
Carter.
and hold it. Yeah, the whole game, man. Even the DK play at the end. Teams Yeah, but sometimes teams just know how to, or certain players, or just a juju, the ball just falls in your lap. It never does with us.
Yeah, man. I mean, that could not have been a worse, like, Jets fan play. DK Metcalf on the slant. Sauce Gardner, who played great today. He was all over DK. Like, Sauce didn't give up any big plays. Makes a great play on the ball. It gets deflected off of him, deflected off DK, deflected off Jonnu Smith, and then it goes back into DK Metcalf's hands. And you're like, what the hell? This is that at that point for me as a Jets fan. I was like, this is it. Game's over. A play like that doesn't happen if the juju, as you say, is in your favor, right?
Yep.
So at that point, I'm like, this is it. The Jets are not winning this football game. Aaron Rodgers. I mean, look, man, 22 or 30. That's a pretty decent day for completion percentage when you talk about it. 244 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, played really no turnovers.
Yeah. He got sacked a few times. He got sacked 4 times. He still doesn't look like prime Aaron, but he made every throw that he needed to. You saw that throw at the end of the game. That was a big strike there to the tight end late. He's still Aaron Rodgers, but Ryan, at the end of the day, we should have won this game.
Yeah.
It sucks because you have Buffalo now on the schedule. We're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We'll talk about it in our pregame show on Thursday, but to get to the positives, can we get to the positives?
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to stay with the Rodgers part here, correct? Because this is like a big theme that I think we'll hear Aaron Rodgers' comments in the postgame, and I'm sure he's going to have a bunch to say. I listened to his interview after the game immediately with Evan Washburn. He's like, I'm just happy that they gave me the chance to play here, and I love these guys, and I love this team, the usual Aaron Rodgers stuff. But trust me, man, like Kaz said, he wanted to win this one bad. He wanted to prove to the Jets and Aaron Glenn, I still got it. And you know what? I'll give Aaron Rodgers credit. He played well today. He played really well. He picked this Jets defense apart. He knew to go after Brandon Stevens. He made DK Metcalf a focal part of this offense, 4 catches for 83 yards, knew how to get it to him in the short and intermediate routes. Calvin Austin, he made into a actual legit weapon. Who you like, Calvin Austin? This guy? No, Calvin Austin actually turned into a weapon for Aaron Rodgers today. He used Jalen Warren smart. I thought him and Arthur Smith actually called a good game.
Definitely.
They had the Jets defense on their heels a couple times. So,
and that last drive, Ryan, just him being able to notice that Calvin Austin is on a liability at corner and Brandon Stevens throw the ball up there, force the corner to make a good play or a bad play or no play. He made the bad play in that he was getting a little handsy there, and I didn't think it was that bad of a call against Stevens. I didn't think he was like too handsy necessarily, but they're going to call that, especially when you have no real prowess in this league. They're not going to give you that call, Brandon. So Rodgers, well, before that he hit Freiermuth, and that was just enough. That was all they needed. That field goal that 60-yarder, man. Boswell could have made that from
Yeah, I
65.
mean,
It seems like
you knew
56,
he was
so.
going to make it. You knew he was going to make it. Yeah, it's rough to see as a Jets fan after, the whole should you keep Aaron Rodgers, should you not? Glenn decides, I'm starting my new regime, and we'll get into the offense here again. But Rodgers looked pretty damn good. Consider all things considered. That was more like he was in the final week of the season last year against the Dolphins, where he was able to pick this Jets defense apart. And I am a Jets fan and more concerned that the Jets defense, while yes, they were able to get some pressure and they were able to sack him 4 times, overall, you didn't really do a good job in the secondary. And you allowed a lot of big plays to happen. I think about that DK drag route against zone coverage. Stevens get caught looking in zone, gets caught up there. He had a bad angle on the other, I think it was Jalen Warren catch out of the backfield.
Yep.
Slips, doesn't make a good play. And then I also had a problem with Tony Adams in the first quarter. It's a little swing route, right? To DK. And you're taking another poor angle against him. You have to attack DK at the body, at the legs, get after him. Instead, you take a bad angle to the outside. He cuts it up inside, and he's gone for another 30 yards. Those are the type of plays I hope Aaron Glenn recognizes right away and circling up on the board and showing his guys, like, we can't have that. We can't have poor angles and poor tackling here as a secondary. And we also can't be caught watching in zone coverage. This was not a good showing for Steve Wilks, in my opinion.
It was.
And the secondary.
Yeah, especially the safeties, man. We have an issue at safety. Andre Sisco, Tony Adams, they were really a step behind all day. Brandon Stevens, obviously at corners, a step behind. The secondary is going to get, and specifically those corners are going to get no favors with those safeties out there. Those safeties are not that good. Let's just call it speed. Sauce,
no, they're not.
Sauce is great, and then you have 3
Sauce was
average to below average-ish kind of players. Let's just call it for what it is. They're going to have to get pressure on the quarterback so that the secondary doesn't need to hold up. You saw that with that Quincy sack. That was a nice blitz package they put together. They need to do more of that. I didn't think Wilks was aggressive enough today, in my opinion. I thought they could have been more aggressive. And I just think he sort of played a bit of a vanilla strategy. I think he's still feeling out who these players are and what they're capable of doing and not. I don't know what they're going to do with Brandon Stevens next week, but that film room, when he's in there looking at some of the plays he didn't make, he's Glenn's not going to be happy. And
no, you can't be, man.
Have his head down the entire time. I'll tell you that.
Listen, as a defensive player and a defensive coordinator, he should not be happy at all with the way this team played today defensively. Again, might probably highlight the part that they got pressure on Rodgers. But yeah, I agree with you, man. They didn't blitz enough. They needed to get more after Rodgers. Yeah. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's a little bit slower. I thought they could have gotten more opportunities to get after him and pressure him. But overall, for the defensive part of this game and the Rodgers aspect, Rodgers outshined and proved it to the Jets that, hey, man, I still got something left in the tank. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. Week 1 is always crazy. But now let's flip it to the offensive side of the ball, Frankie, and what Justin Fields and this offense did today. Because that was the biggest question mark by far about how this offense was going to look this year. And man, oh man, did they prove you wrong.
Well, hold on. You know what? Justin Fields sort of proved me wrong a little bit. Listen, I like the gloves, by the way. I think that should be a new thing. I think he should always wear the gloves. I like those. Ben Roethlisberger used to do that too. Maybe he gets a better grip on that ball. I like the gloves. But he proved me wrong. But I told you all. I said it from day one. Tanner Engstrand's my guy. And Tanner Engstrand, I think, was the star of today. Now, Fields was right there. Fields was best supporting, star. But I think the star of the game was Tanner Engstrand. I'm telling you, Ryan, and I'm telling everybody out there, we have a legitimate offensive coordinator here. This guy is doing what Ben Johnson was doing in Detroit. He's running things that are confusing defenses. You saw in that 2-point conversion. That's just one little thing. You saw in that deep crossing routes how you get Garrett there for 6. He's running misdirections. Brees is eating. Garrett's eating. It looks like what the Lions were doing last year with Jahmyr Gibbs and Amon-Ra. I was super impressed. And Fields made basically every throw that he needed to. Garrett almost had 100 yards today, Rye, receiving. Brees had over 100 yards rushing. 145 plus total Brees Hall had today. I mean, it was just an overall really impressive game from Tanner, from the offense, from Justin Fields, and our two stars on offense, Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. So that was at least something I was happy to see.
Happy. I was ecstatic watching this entire offense today. Real quick, Aaron Glenn said after the game in the post-game presser right now, said turnovers and penalties were unacceptable. You will not be on the field if you cause us to lose games, end quote. So it'll be interesting to see how he balances the Xavier Gibson, a guy that was a surprise to make the Jets roster this year. The fact that he had the most brutal play that cost him the game, you could argue. Pritchett's there on the practice squad. Do the Jets give him a chance? I don't know. We both asked Kaz, like, really, why was Gibson on this team over Pritchett? Because Gibson didn't look good and really doesn't give you much on offensively. So something to watch there for at least what Aaron Glenn says there in the postgame presser. But going back to the offense, Frankie, you could not be more excited as a Jets fan, at least for me. The offensive line effing dominated today.
Yes.
Dominated. On the first play of the game at the line of scrimmage, they collapsed and pancaked and bullied the entire Steelers front seven. The vaunted, expensive, very talented Steelers front seven, and the Jets offensive line dominated them. They pushed these guys around and said, we're going to run the ball just like we keep telling everyone, and they dominated up there. I thought
setting the tone for the rest of the game.
Set the tone for the rest of the game because they were able to run the ball so effectively. Breece Hall looked like rookie Breece Hall today.
He did.
He looked explosive, fast, decisive, knew how to make his cuts, made guys miss in the backfield. Even when there was a couple missed blocks, he still made plays with his legs. I honestly thought Breece Hall was the second most encouraging part of this offense, besides what the offensive line was able to do. And then you got to talk about Justin Fields, man. That touchdown pass to Garrett Wilson was elite. A deep throw to Garrett Wilson for a touchdown. When's the last time we've seen that, Frankie?
We haven't seen it like that, and we haven't seen it schemed like that either. Fields, you know what he was doing the whole day, Ryan, which was really impressive? He had his head up. He went through his reads. He wasn't out of control. Didn't look like he was pressing at all. He literally ran their game plan, and he ran it really, really well. Now, I love what Tanner's doing with Fields. I think they threw everything today. You saw zone reads. You saw concepts that Detroit runs. You saw running concepts from the zone, days of what San Francisco used to do. Misdirection, pre-snap motion, bunch formations. They did everything. Rollouts, tight end slippage. I mean, you saw everything today. It's super impressive to see an offense in week one that just basically got put together, or they did get just put together with Tanner, Justin Fields, and co. To be able to run all these different type of schemes, Ryan, and they look good. Like the spacing and everything looks legit. It looks like these guys have been playing football together for, a couple years now. That's super impressive. And it's something you can definitely build on. Now, who would have thought that the Jets scoring 32 points wasn't going to be enough? You would think it'd be the opposite. I mean, nobody thought we'd score 32 points. Some people didn't think we scored 32 points in 3 games. You have some fans that didn't think it would take us 3 games to score that many points. They were on fire today. It sucks to go in there and lose like that. It just does. But, yeah, Fields on the ground, right? 48 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns, 1 through the air, like you were saying. They even got Tyler Johnson a little bit involved. They were just they played exceptionally well, that offense.
Yeah, I thought even Mason Taylor's catch was really impressive, the 20-yarder he had. And, yeah, man, he got the ball to Garrett Wilson on key downs, and he made some decisive throws where it was zip on them and fit him in some tight windows. He put it on the back shoulders of Rucker on the right side. Justin looked very, very good today. Different from all of training camp and all preseason. And how about him, man, rushing? Justin Fields. And this is something I told you, Frankie, in the offseason with all these shows is like, we're going to see quarterback play that we've never seen before as a Jets fan. I've never seen a quarterback play like Justin Fields did in a Jets uniform. Michael Vick was well past his prime when he had that one little stint with the Jets. This is different. The plays that Justin Fields can make with his legs, both in the pocket and out of the pocket, down the field, he makes things happen, man. And if you're telling me I'm getting 16 to 22 for 218 yards, 1 passing touchdown and 2 rushing touchdowns with Justin Fields, sign me up, dude. That's the Jalen Hurts effect right there. I'm not saying he's going to be Jalen Hurts, but that is the type of offense that I think you're pointing out to Tanner Engstrand. if you have a stable running backs like they do with Brees and Braylon and Isaiah Davis, a very good showing from the offensive line with 2 rookies who I thought really held up well today. And then you got a running quarterback in Justin Fields who can make plays with his legs out of the pocket. It's just such an X factor. It makes your offense that more explosive. Yeah, man, I know Rodgers had 4 passing touchdowns, but I'm going to be honest with you, Justin Fields was the best quarterback on the field today. I thought he played outstanding today.
And I'll say this, Rye. I'll say this. How many times was Justin Fields sacked today? Only once. Only once, which is very impressive because the knack on Justin Fields coming into the year was loves to hold on to the football too long, likes to try to create something sometimes out of nothing back there. That didn't happen today. That didn't happen where he held on too long and that created a sack. And when he did try to get out of a little bit of chaos back there, he got out of it. So shout outs to him and that offensive line, obviously. TJ Watt today really was a non-factor all day for the most part, except that one big hit. You see him try to, they're trying to imprint, the Steelers' pride on the Jets with that BS hit he had late on Fields, which is legal. It's totally legal. If you're going to zone read, and you're going to give it, you're totally open, susceptible to being hit. I get it, but it's little bush league. But hey, man, we were right there, and the game, I'll say overall, was just a great football game. This was, say what you want, we lost, it sucks. It was a pleasure. It was a good game to watch. I really enjoyed it. There was a lot of big plays, big moments, but we made all the big mistakes. And I think that is sort of the theme.
It's been the theme with this Jets team for a couple of years now. Even under Robert Saleh, there was a lot of penalties. It was key, crucial, critical mistakes on either third down or fourth down. Special teams, once again, is a killer for the Jets, missing the extra point, turning the ball over on a kickoff return. These are things that you have to control, and that's how you lose football games. And that's what Aaron Glenn has said he wanted to fix and correct. So while I thought Aaron Glenn actually had a very strong first showing, like in the first half when he lines up to go for it on fourth down, has the Steelers burn a timeout, smart play by him. But there's other times where he burned a couple timeouts early in the fourth quarter. And you're like, come on, man. Like they get the really, again, I want to highlight this Justin Fields fourth quarter touchdown because let's not forget, Steelers score 14 points in a matter of 4 minutes after the turnover, and they score another quick touchdown in 2 plays. It's now 31-26. And now it's at the point where all the momentum is on the Steelers, right? Like everything is pointing, Steelers are going to run away with this game. The Jets, they put up a good fight for the first 3 quarters. They can lay down and lie down like dead dogs and let him sleep. Justin Fields goes down the field for 12 plays, 67 yards, 7-minute drive, orchestrates the go-ahead touchdown, Frankie, on 4th and goal. What a play call by him and Tanner Engstrand. I'm looking at a quote here now from Justin Fields. He was asked about the naked bootleg where they had the fake handoff on 4th and goal, and he runs out to the right, no one even near him, and he literally walks into the end zone. He says Tanner Engstrand called the play, and that they didn't even practice the play this week, but he told him to do it. He said, "That's cool. Hold on to it." He's like, "Run the naked bootleg. Don't even try handing it off. They're gonna bite on this." And sure as heck, they did bite on it, and it was an easy touchdown.
Yeah, that's great, man. I love stuff like that. I'll say this though, you know what kind of screwed us today, and some people are bringing it up, but if you look at the score, and because it went back and forth, I think the score changed 7-8 times today. When we went up 9-7, right? We had the opportunity there to go up 10-7. They had a penalty on our extra point. We did not line up for an extra point. We went for it on 2 and missed it. I didn't like that play call, by the way. That was too vanilla for me. I think they have too much stuff in there to just give it to Braylon Allen and not have Brees in the game. Now, they're up 9-7, right? And the game we're never up by 3 or we're never up by 7 because then we're up 16-10.
Yep.
Then we're up 19-10, still not that 10 mark, 7-3. Well,
yeah, but 19-10 is a 2-score game. Like you're hoping.
Then 19-17. But I'm saying we're constantly just a point shy of a field goal being the difference or a touchdown. And you could see that was sort of hanging over this game up until the end, which led to us going for 2 again, which we didn't get, which eventually led to Pittsburgh kicking the game-winning field goal. We were up by a point, so sometimes when you go for two a little too early and you have that weird number 9-7, that can sort of track throughout a football game and could potentially hurt you. Now, listen, I would have kicked the extra point. I told you this. We were texting. I don't kill Glenn for not. If you want to, imprint who you are and what they did in Detroit and that kind of style, I understand why. But
but they had the penalty. But don't forget, they had the penalty, Frankie, right? So the Steelers had the penalty, and that's why they said, okay, the analytics tell you if you get the penalty and now the ball moves up, if you go for two to half the distance, you go for it. It wasn't a great play call. I will say that on the 2-point conversion. If they had drawn up something similar like they did on the 4th and goal, but you can't really reveal at that point, sure. The read option didn't work the first 2 series, but then it became a huge part of this offense because Justin decided to keep it a couple times because he saw the defensive ends kept crashing and crashing and crashing for the handoff. He finally kept it, and he started making a lot of plays with his legs, which again was what I'm trying to say is this guy is such an X factor with his legs, something the Jets have not had at quarterback for a long time or ever. And that's what can make a real difference for this Jets offense. There's a lot of encouraging positives to take out of this Jets game, Frankie, but ultimately losing this football game, I think hurts more than anything else. Am I wrong to read it that way?
Yeah, unfortunately, I was thinking the same thing, Rye, because you did everything you thought was right. Your offense played so much better than you thought. You have plays on defense you wish you could take back, but they have confidence in that defense. They have confidence in Wilkes and Glenn being a defensive guy. They were worried about Fields and Tanner and what they would do this game, or Brees, or how Garrett would look with Fields. But that wasn't the case. It's sort of the opposite. So you wish you could have taken this one. We're playing Buffalo. So, yeah, it is a big-time buzzkill. But the encouraging thing is you have now an offense that you can look at and say, wow, this is something that if we can get that defense decent, because they were bad today, that defense can play decent, we would have won this game, and maybe this is a theme throughout the year. And to your point, though, not to go back in time, but to your point about Fields running the read option, right? I love what that also does for Brees Hall.
Oh, yeah.
And that read option, Ryan, is something that, to your point, it being sort of uncovered this game, and there were a few plays, Fields, I bet you would have taken it back and literally would have given it. I remember once late in the game, he gave it instead of keeping it, and that sort of messed him up a bit, and we lost 4 yards. He's going to learn how to run that because he wasn't really running that much at all in Pittsburgh and in Chicago. So once that gets better, you're going to see it open up more things for Brees like we saw today throughout the year. Braylon Allen will get more involved. He really was a non-factor today. Only 9 yards Braylon Allen had on 6 carries. Did have the touchdown, but the Jets ran for 182 yards. I mean, you're really not going to ask for more there. Almost 400 yards of offense. So that's the encouraging thing for the season. But yeah, today is sort of a kick where, because you thought you had it and it just slipped away. You made too many mistakes. They made a lot of mistakes today, Rye.
Yep. It's a tough one. It's really a tough one for the Jets, and I'm hoping that they can turn some of this around and say we have enough positives to look forward to, but it's a game you let go. It's a game you let slip away, and you had a real chance to beat Aaron Rodgers week 1. And unfortunately, I got to now listen to this guy in the post game now, talk to Brian Costello and other reporters and saying,
ooh, is Cos coming on?
No, he's not coming on. But Rodgers said, quote, there were people in the Jets organization who probably believed he could no longer play, and it was nice to show them that he still can. Yeah, he showed them he can still play. He gets the last laugh. He proved me wrong. He proved us wrong. I don't know what else to say. I mean,
listen, let's just be honest here, though. DK Metcalf had a huge game, especially yards after the catch. DK was a beast today. Yeah, Rodgers had a few nice throws to tight end. DK had those big plays. Calvin Austin did more than we thought, even though Calvin Austin's a bit underrated. We didn't talk about it on our show. He's better than people think. They really liked him years ago when they brought him into Pittsburgh. He hasn't been able to put it together, had some injury problems. Regardless, yeah, Rodgers played a pretty good game. I don't think Rodgers diced us up.
Yeah, he did.
God.
He did.
He didn't dice us up, man.
244 yards for 4 touchdowns.
I mean, listen, more than I thought. I thought he was going to get like 180.
I know. And it's more than I thought, and I'm wrong, and I am admitting Jets fans, Steelers fans, whatever it is, I was wrong. Aaron Rodgers can still play football, it looks like. Will he last all season? Who knows? We've seen this. I'm not falling for it if I'm a Jets fan, or if I wouldn't fall for it as a Steelers fan. He's one hit away from legitimately not being able to throw the football again like he was against the Jets. But listen, he gets the last laugh. They won. The Jets overall, a lot of positives, but the mistakes kill them. Gibson fumble, cannot emphasize it enough. It was the worst time to fumble that ball on the kickoff return after the Steelers just scored a touchdown. Frankie, final thoughts for you for the Jets after losing this game 34-32 to the Steelers.
You know what, man? Every single guy in that locker room needs to go in and have their heads up high. They played a really, really good football game. They showed that we have talent everywhere. We have talent on the offensive line. We have talent in the backfield. We have talent at wide receiver. Looks like we have talent at quarterback. Defensive line, linebackers, secondary, although in the secondary, I think we only have talent at one position there. But we have talent everywhere. There was a point in this game, Ryan, where I said to myself, the Jets are good. Like, the Jets look like a good football team. Like, this team could win 9 games. Really? Like, if the offense looks like this and the defense gets better, which they only can at this point because I thought they played really bad today.
They didn't play really bad. I thought
they just didn't. They were one step behind an offense that I don't think had that much talent outside of maybe DK Metcalf. I mean, Warren didn't do much. You have an old Rodgers there.
There's going to be
no reason for you to. I mean, come on, man. Like,
I agree with you. I think that's a great point. There are going to be a lot of better offenses that the Jets defense is going to face this year, where you're going to have to play better than you did today. And getting diced up by 244 yards and 4 touchdowns is not great by any means, and you're never good when you give them four passing touchdowns to a quarterback as an opposing defense. But I will say, I thought overall the defensive line played pretty solid. The linebackers are flying around. The secondaries, besides Sauce Gardner, is where your weakness is, like you said in the beginning of the show. And I think that showed true today, that Stevens might be an issue in the secondary. I do wonder if Osri Thomas, gets some more reps there as a second corner. Quantez Stiggers, he had some, I think he had a boneheaded play today too. So you wonder can he fight his way into, is it cornerback too? I thought Michael Carter was pretty solid today. Frankie, for me, final thoughts today, the Jets offense looks legit. I know that's saying a lot right now, but they look legit. They look like they have a top 15 offense, which is something I've been dying to see as a Jets fan. It's all going to fall on Justin Fields though, which is clearly how they want to operate. While the offensive line may have looked really good and they have a great stable of running backs and Garrett Wilson looks like a stud, Justin Fields, protect yourself, kid. But this offense can be special with him leading the way. And against a very, very talented Steelers defense, he carved them up for 32 points, which is pretty damn impressive.
Yeah. And I'm going to give flowers. So I think we can maybe do this, Ryan. We'll give flowers to a player after every game. My flowers that I'm giving today goes to my man, Will McDonald. Willie McDonald had a nice game, 2 sacks, put some respect on my boy's name. He played exceptionally well. That was a matchup I was looking for. Remember, we spoke about it in our pregame shows, which, by the way, if you're listening, we do those on Thursday. Those are always fun when I'm in studio with Ryan. We have moments. I love this guy. Look at him. He's the best. But no, Will McDonald didn't have the sacks on Troy Fautanu. Had him on Broderick Jones, who he's owned in his career. And remember, all of us wanted Broderick Jones when Bill Belichick did his little, moving up and trading the pick. That didn't affect us. It actually helped us. Thanks, Bill. So we ended up with Will McDonald, who really looks like a stud edge rusher in this game. At least somebody on passing downs that you could look forward to. So defense had 4 sacks. He had 2 of them. McDonald gets my flowers today.
I thought Jermaine, that's a great guy to give flowers to. I got to give mine to Justin Fields, man. Proving the haters wrong, like you, Frankie, who didn't like the signing at all, and said that Justin Fields, don't trust him. And you're asking me in the offseason, how quickly do they turn to Tyrod Taylor? And why should they sign another quarterback? Come on, he proved you wrong today, and he proved a lot. He proved me wrong. That Justin Fields can still play, and he has a lot to prove. And I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays the rest of the season because he's gonna have a ton of opportunities here. And this Jets offense can be humming. Breece Hall, I could give as a secondary flowers, but I'm going to give my flowers to Justin Fields. This is a really nice showing for him for the first game of the season and first game in a Jets uniform.
Yeah, and I'll say this about Fields, Ryan, just last thing with him. He looked confident. It looked like He looks like he's been running that Tanner Engstrand offense for years. I mean, he knew exactly where to go with the ball, wasn't pressing, wasn't rushing anything, didn't really have many turnover-worthy plays, if any, really. Really, really clean game from Justin. So it's something to look forward to. My one concern with this team, which I didn't think would be, I'm concerned with this secondary, man.
Yep.
This secondary is not ready to play big boy football. I mean,
yep, you'll be going up against much better wide receiver duos than DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin. I'll tell you that much. Aaron Rodgers asked how it feels to beat Aaron Glenn. Quote, I'm just happy to beat everybody associated with the New York Jets. What a quote.
He said that?
Yeah, he said that. Yeah.
Please, man, give me a break. Listen, at this point, seeing what we saw today, would you want Rodgers back?
No.
Yeah, I'm good, man. He was here for 2 years. The injury screwed you. I'm sorry. It screwed us all too. It is what it is. Move on. He has like a bone to pick. Now, he's in a great place, though, I'll say, because Pittsburgh, they have something that they do there where they just find a way to win games like this. They always do. You saw when McCrary ball on that kickoff return, hitting the ball out, it goes right into their hands. Pittsburgh, every ball goes into their hands.
They're a well-coached team, Frankie.
They're a well-coached team, and they just always find ways to win games like this. If you make a mistake or two too many against Pittsburgh, you'll pay. There's a reason Mike Tomlin hasn't had a losing record yet. So he hasn't. So I mean,
listen, there's
give
a lot.
them a little credit, I guess. But
yeah,
they
absolutely. Dude, this is why the Steelers were favored in this game, even though it is in MetLife. You got the savvy vet in Aaron Rodgers. You got Mike Tomlin, who's a Super Bowl winning coach. They're a damn good football team. Are they a playoff team? Potentially. But the Jets showed themselves that they can compete to the end with a team like this. So this is just the first test of 17. They got another one next week against the Bills, which I'm sure we're going to be pumped up to see and how they play against the Bills, a division rival. They've played the Bills tough at home, so you'll see how that goes. But, man, I'm excited about this offense. I think they can run the ball on anyone. I really think that they've shown that they can get creative with their motions, the read option. Breece Hall looks legitimately like rookie Breece Hall, and if he runs like that, they're going to do some damage against a lot of teams. And we'll see what happens in the secondary if they can make some adjustments. I think they need to really think about Brandon Stevens if they can continue to use him as that CB2 because, man, he was picked on today. He was really picked on.
Yeah, that's sad to see. You know, we thought we could have got something out of him. It seems like the issues he had in Baltimore just following him here. But Ryan, really quick, I just want to ask you, in your pick'em pool, I'm an idiot, first off, because I picked the freaking Raiders. So am I done? Like,
yeah,
I'm done already.
Yeah, you picked the Raiders or the Patriots. You saying?
Oh no, I picked the Patriots. Excuse me.
Yeah, you're done.
That's
how Survivor works, man.
Can I buy back in?
If we have a mass exodus of people after today, sure, we'll discuss it. I think a lot of people picked the Broncos and the Cardinals today. Cardinals did win. They held on. The drop touchdown by the Saints at the end. It was close. People were probably sweating that one out. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Pick?
I picked the Broncos like everyone else.
Yeah, I'm an idiot, aren't I? Oh, unbelievable.
Listen, Jets fans, we appreciate you as always for hopping on here for the Postgame Live show. This is Gangs All Here. I'm Ryan Sampson. It's Frankie Vittorini. Jets again lose a very, very tough game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. It's only week one, Jets fans. Hopefully you're excited like we are about Justin Fields and this offense. That looked fun. Maybe they can continue to do that all season long and just continue to get better every week. The defense, we think, can get better, hopefully. And we'll see how it goes. We hope we see you next week after that Bills game. For Frankie and Ryan, as always, after a rough loss, go Jets.